Hello, comic book guys and gals, and welcome to Comic Mag Musings Live. Today we are going to do a quick 50-cent comic book haul, and then I will do an unboxing of some raw comics that this time I do know the comics that are in them. And I think there's 4, if I'm not mistaken. So, thank you guys for showing up. Appreciate it. Thank you, the Gray Man. Rick Jorgensen, thank you for stopping by. Backseat Driver, thanks for showing in. Appreciate it. And Unruly Simeon, thank you all so much for being here. I appreciate that. How's everyone doing? Having a good Sunday, I hope. So this is, if I don't do that, sometimes I won't know if it was 50 cents or $1, and I don't lie. So I don't want to lie. I don't want to misrepresent things. So I got to put little stickies on things because I probably got these maybe in January, so maybe 4 to 5 months ago, and then I would forget. There's no way I would know. Hey, Backseat Driver, good to see you, sir. All right, let's get this party started, fellas. So first, these are, I think I got these. Yeah, I probably got these more than that. Maybe 6 or 7 months ago. I got them from a comic book shop in Mesa, Arizona, which is a suburb, about 45 minutes if I got the pedal to the metal, or about an hour away from where I'm at in North Phoenix. Phoenix is huge, right? Both population-wise and land mass. So it's a big city, and then it has lots of big suburbs around it, Mesa being one of those. So if you don't have a car and or you don't know how to drive, it can be very difficult. That's for certain. There is public transportation, but public transportation is really beneficial when you're in a dense area, and Phoenix is really spread out. So I think I got these from that comic book shop. That I didn't put a note on. All right, but we have the newer Marvel team up featuring Spider-Man and Miss Marvel #2. Some things around. Yes, it definitely is. It's a sprawling city, and it just grows and grows and grows because people from California, back east, especially New York, and the north, like Michigan, Minnesota, they're coming here in droves, moving here in droves, because I think at some point they get tired of dealing with snow, and Phoenix still has a relatively reasonable cost of living, so it makes it very attractive. I think Florida used to be the pipeline with New York, and it still is to a certain extent, but a lot of those people, a lot of the New Yorkers are choosing to move out to the Southwest versus going to Florida. I think it's like the 6th biggest city in the country. LA is the biggest, and then there's New York, and then I think like Chicago, Philadelphia, Houston, and then Phoenix is next. So it's big, huge. Yeah, they do. Me too. I mean, I'm one of the few natives. Most people here moved here. I moved away for 8 years when I was in Central Texas. Long time ago when I was a young man. I was in the Army, so I was at Fort Hood, and stayed there for 8 years and then moved back. But other than that, I've lived here my whole life. So I got desert in the blood, I guess. All right, now these, just looking at the next couple, these are all in probably low to mid-grade condition. We have Marvel 211, number 60. This is from 1980. The cover is by Bob Budiansky, and this features the first appearance of Impossible Woman. We've got Marvel 211 67 with a Ron Wilson cover. Oh, hey, Brad. Good to see you, sir. Thanks for stopping by. Yeah, my sister I spent one summer, I think after my 8th grade year, in a little suburb of LA, I think it was, called West Covina. And it was nice. A few places in California that are nice. San Francisco, although it's a little too cold, I think I could deal with that. Plus, I'd be homeless probably within a couple weeks. It is expensive as hell, as is San Diego, because it's like, 70 to 85 all year round, and who wouldn't want to live in that with that type of temperature? But it ain't free. But a lot of people in Phoenix go to San Diego, take little mini vacations, hit the beach. We have Marvel 211 number 59, another Budiansky cover, written by Marv Wolfman and Ralph Macchio. Not of Karate Kid fame, but of Marvel Comics fame. These are some rough bags that I never, I don't think I rebagged it. Number 58 from 79. It's a George Perez cover. And this features the first appearance of Nth Man. We've got Marvel Team Up, number 5 from 1982 with an Ed Hannigan cover. This is an indie, Ghost Tree number 1 from 2019 with a Simon Gain cover. Have not read it. The new Marvel Monsters number 1 from 2019 with a Nick Bradshaw cover. One of my favorite series of all time. This was the first comic book, not this specific issue, but this series is the first one I ever remember reading when I was a lad. And this is Micronauts number 5. This is from 79 with the Michael Golden Cup. But love that. I've read all the Micronauts series. I think someone else picked up the license after Marvel. Can't remember. Maybe it was Boom or it was something like that. Wasn't Dark Horse. Might have been IDW or Image. Image had one, I think. Can't remember, but Micronauts are wonderful. Love them. This is Birds of Prey number 1 one-shot from 2014 with the Dan Panosian cover. And this is that lenticular cover. No gimmick there, but pretty cool, I guess. We have Batman Legends of the Dark Knight, number 1 from 1989. It's an Ed Hannigan cover. I think there are 4 different colors for this #1. I think there was a blue, there's this orange, maybe a pink. I can't remember all 4. We have Shadow of the Bat, #2. This is from '92, and the cover is by Brian Stelfreeze. And the last one for this haul is Marvel Zombies Resurrection #1. This is from 2019, and the cover is by In-Hyuk Lee. Pretty cool. The original Marvel Zombie stories were okay. And that is it for the 50-cent haul. So I will do the unboxing, and then I'll do a shout out to 4 more channels. So I've got my trusty box cutter. Although I don't know how trusty it is. I think this is for right-handers. I have trouble with it. Here is the box. I don't know if I'll need a box cutter. We'll see. Probably not. All right. Wow. So there we go. We got some cardboard jammed in there. Okay. Hey, whatever works, right? It's got cardboard wrapped around some bubble wrap. Some cardboard just fell out too. So that's a trip. I never seen that before. And then got the bubble wrap. So there we go. Hey, Nostalgia Junkies, thanks for stopping by. I appreciate it. I'll quickly go through the chat, make sure I haven't missed reading anyone. There we go. Jackson Roy Kirk, how are you, sir? Thank you for stopping by. I appreciate that. And we're going to find out, although I alluded to it in the comment that I made in response to the comment that you made to yesterday's live stream. So you should slightly be in the know. So they had bigger bubble wrap and then the smaller bubble wrap inside of that. So in a couple hours, Mrs. Musings and I are going to head out hiking. I don't know how much longer we're going to be doing that. It's hot. In the upper 90s yesterday. I haven't really gone outside much today, so I don't know what it was today. I assume it was in the 90s. It probably wasn't as hot as it was yesterday. But it'll definitely be in the mid to upper 80s probably when we go hiking. So we'll see. It's getting a little too warm for me. Werewolf by lunchtime. Thank you for showing up, sir. I appreciate you stopping by. One of the best names in all of YouTube. All right, so these are the books. And we'll just pop them out of here. Boom. Okay, and so they're all in a bigger bag. So we'll pull them out of that guy. Try to do them in order. So we've got Hellboy, Seed of Destruction, #1. And this is the first Hellboy in his own title, right? Like the first cover appearance was on John Byrne's X-Men 21. But Seed of Destruction is his own title. And there looks like it's in pretty good condition. It was advertised as being in pretty good condition. You can see we've got that make right there. Some color loss. It's tough with a black cover like that, but I could see this being a 9496. And I will ultimately probably get these graded. I'm a big fan of Hellboy. He's just kind of one of those that I've got a lot of the trades, and I've read them. I love Mignola's sort of gothic art, particularly with the architecture. I like how he takes different I guess fables from cultures all over the world and kind of weaves them into the Hellboy stories and the Hellboy universe. So I really do enjoy it. First movie was pretty good. Oh, I think there's been a second one, right? I didn't see that. And I didn't even know they had animated movies, Jackson. So I'll have to look out for those. I'm other than like YouTube, I really don't watch much. Mrs. Musings and I are still working on season 2 of Agent Carter of S.H.I.E.L.D. So that's how far behind I am on stuff. And she watches a lot of television. I just don't watch much. I spend most of my time reading, or I'll watch things on YouTube. Coincidentally or not coincidentally, pretty much all comic book related. But it's like if I start a series with her, I really have to like The Reaver. We watched season 1 of that, which was really good, and I enjoyed it. But other than that, it's like I feel this sense of obligation hanging over my head if I agree to watch this series or that series. And I got so many obligations in my life already. I try not to take on any more unless I have to. Okay, so these aren't in order, so I'll put them in order. So this is, I'll just check the comments here. Yeah, it is good. I really enjoyed it. Season 1 was great. You're right. It kind of, it takes a dip in season 2, at least thus far. I think we're maybe 5 or 6 episodes in. But I could see them being Disney, doing something with that. I think there was enough there to maybe spin it back up or put her in S.H.I.E.L.D. or another TV series. All right, here we go. All right, so as I said, first appearance of Rasputin, first appearance of Trevor Frutenholm, and it has the origin of Hellboy. And then we've got issue number 2, first appearance of Abe Sapien, and first appearance of Liz Sherman. Good look. Good shape. Would need a press, but get a 9.6, 9.8 maybe after a press. And we have issue number 3. First cameo appearance of Audru Jahad, 7 beasts known as the Dragon, held in a celestial prison. Yeah, in good shape, except there's definitely some, and it's tough to see, but there's some spine wear. Not spine ticks, but actually on the spine itself, some color loss. So that'll affect that one. And then Hellboy Seed of Destruction number 4. And this is the last in this series. Love Howard the Duck, Brad. That's a good buy right there. And the First Kiss is one of the more expensive issues. I think it's like 10, 11, 12, 13. It's around that range. What's issue number? And so that, well, let's take a look at number 4. Yeah, number 4 is in good condition too. So I'll probably send those guys in to get graded at some point. So I did maybe about a month ago. I sent in some books to CGC to get graded. Mrs. Musings and I each gave our guess or our estimate on what grades they will receive. And when they come back, I'll film that and reveal what grades they got, along with the grades that we each anticipated. But that was the first time in probably at least 15 years that I've ever sent anything into CGC. And I'd only done it one other time, and that was, I think you've heard me talk about, if you watch any of my 50-cent haul videos, there was a local comic book shop in Phoenix called All About Books and Comics that had opened up in '85, had been here for 35 years and just closed a few months ago. And they were having some back issue sales for 50-cent comics. And so that's where I got a good portion of those. Not the ones I showed today, but almost all the other ones, or at least a good portion of the other ones. So probably about 15 or 16 maybe years ago, I went and bought a couple Black Panther, I think, it's hard to remember, maybe a Hero for Hire or 2, and an Iron Man, I think, from their back stock. And then through them, I submitted, it might have been 7 or 8 books to CGC. So I filled out a paper form and handed them over to them, paid the fees, paid for the books, of course. I bought the books from them. And then a couple, maybe a month, 2 months, might have been longer later, they called me up and said they were ready, and I went and picked them up. And that was the only time I'd ever submitted anything to CGC, and really they did it on my behalf, because I don't think, back then, I don't think CGC offered the opportunity to submit books on your own. I think you had to be a dealer or have some sort of special license. I'm not positive, and correct me on that, but it was certainly more difficult back then to do it than it is now. Let me jump in the chat really good. Hey, Dave, good to see you, sir. Thank you for stopping by. Jambo Comics, thank you for stopping in. I appreciate that. Now we'll give I'll do a quick recap of the books that we went over. So this was the first time I've ever submitted anything to CGC on my own. We'll see how long it takes. I heard it's been quicker because of their because of the fact that they haven't been working comic book conventions. But I did get everything pressed, and I know that adds a significant amount of lead time. That's one of the things that is disappointing with CGC is that they don't have their own in-house pressing. So they have to package everything up, mail it to someone else, CCS. Then they press the books, clean them, and then they mail them back to CGC. And so it certainly probably adds at least a week, maybe even more of lead time to whatever you send in. But I don't know, that's fine. I'm patient enough. And so obviously, other than those initial 7, might have been 8, we'll say 6 to 8, because I can't positively remember. Other than those initial 6 to 8 books that I sent in via the comic book shop 15 or 16 years ago, I've never sent anything to CGC or CBCS or PGX or EGS or any of them. All the slabs I have, I've purchased for probably, first of all, I'm not a great grader. I'm decent, but we'll find out how good I am when we get these books back from CGC. I spent a lot of time over the last 15 to whoever, I don't know, 15 plus years following auctions on Comic Link, Pedigree, Comic Connect, Heritage, Hakes, eBay, and I had a pretty good idea just in my head from so many hours of seeing what things buy and sell for. I have a pretty good idea of when a slab comic is undervalued at a certain grade. And so I have my own things that I collect and that I will be really patient. Sometimes it'll take 15 years or so. And when I see something that I know is undervalued, I'll pick it up. And if I see something that I think is undervalued that I don't collect, I'll probably pick it up. And then I have something to ultimately trade or sell to raise money to buy something that I do collect. So that's where the vast majority of my graded comic books come from, through auctions, whether they be on eBay or through one of the comic book sites. My Comic Shop's another one. Worldwide Comics, another one. So there are a lot of them that I've checked out over the years. Some good, some not as good. So before I get to the recap, I did want to do a channel shout out for 4 different channels. One of them is, I'll share the screen. For this rascal right here, Silver Age Dave, who's in the chat. Coincidence only, I can assure you, but I've enjoyed his content for quite some time now. He has an amazing comic book room. If you haven't seen it, it's incredible. It's a feast for the eyes just to take in. I really like the way he has it laid out, and nothing's kind of set in stone. If you find something that's going to work better for him, he'll make that change. He's built many of the things himself. He's repurposed some of the things to help serve his comic book collecting needs. And what I really enjoy is he gives tours, and he'll oftentimes really detail what he did to create a shelf or create wall brackets. That way, if you have a little bit of, I don't know what you call it, handyman or handicraft about you, you can replicate that for yourself. But he does some amazing hauls, whether they be comic book collections that he's come across, or more oftentimes that have come to him, or what many would consider grail comics. And he's always willing to share the unboxings of those with others, and it's just a fun time. He has great live streams, oftentimes that will go for an hour or more, and just a fun, positive member of the community. So I wanted to shout him out. And if you're not subscribed to him, believe me, you'd be doing yourself a favor in subscribing. All right. So, I said spoiler. I wouldn't doubt that. The next shout out I wanted to do, and these are all obviously people that I've been following, most of them for quite some time, and I try to catch most of their content. I really do enjoy their videos. And this next rascal is criminally undersubbed for the quality of his content. So let me share that one with you. There we are. And this is Alan Garrett from AFTA Comics. Now, he used to have a lot more videos than this, and if you see, but he didn't like the quality of them, and he deleted them, a large chunk of them, or a large portion of them. And he did take a little bit of a hiatus toward the end of last year, the beginning of this year, from producing any videos. But he's back. I think that he had some professional things going on, and I think he's kind of gotten into a groove and situated himself in with a somewhat of a career change. And I do believe that we can safely assume that we'll be getting some more content from him. And I tell you, if you haven't watched any of his videos, it is an incredible treat. He has an amazing collection. He's a completist. And so nearly everything he has are full runs of a lot of Silver and Bronze Age comic titles. He has a voice for radio. He's in radio, kind of like I have a face for radio. And it is first and foremost in all of his videos. He has a very soothing voice, like old brandy, just listening to him. He tells wonderful stories, especially in his Out of the Bag series, where he'll show when he's cleaning the Mylar bags, he'll take all the comics out and kind of go through them at once and share a story simultaneously. You could just watch the video, and then you could re-watch it by listening to it, because he has such a soothing voice and tells such great stories that the playability is incredible. It's like a video game that has different scenarios. I'm not a big gamer, but you know, the playability is good if you can have alternate scenarios to go back and play it after you've already beaten it. So that is AFTA Comics. And third, over here, we have The Comic Collector. And this is Tim, a great guy, does a lot of live streams. In those live streams, he'll do comic book unboxings. He'll share comics that he happened upon that he didn't even know that he had, as well as action figures. He's a big DC guy. That's the focus of his collecting. But he's just wonderful, good, positive attitude, fun guy to interact with in the chats. And he's oftentimes participating in chats and as a guest during live streams for other channels as well. So The Comic Collector, I would encourage you to check him out, and if you like it, sub him up. And one more, the fourth and final shout out for today. Is this rascal right here, 64-page special. Funny, and talented. This guy will he's really good at editing, and I know he has to have some type of artistic background, because he'll take still images from like covers and animate them like he did with these. But for me, the most enjoyable part are his contest entries. He is just funny, and his videos are super slick. Just really, really well done. Top notch, second to none. With the content, with the editing, and with the jokes that he peppers in them. I highly suggest you check out 64-page special if you're not already subbed up to him. And those are my 4 shout outs for today. Real quickly, I will go back through the comics. So these first ones are were 50-cent comics that I got at a comic book shop in Mesa, Arizona, probably like a half a year or more ago. I'll go with 6 months, but it could be like 7. We got Marvel Zombies Resurrection, #1. Batman Shadow of the Bat, #2. Legends of the Dark Knight, #1. That's the orange or yellow-orange background. Future's End, Birds of Prey, #1, one shot. This is that lenticular cover. I respectfully disagree. I like that first Bozo Day. Micronauts #5. Love that series. Had the opportunity, maybe the boss would probably know, maybe 3 years ago, maybe 4, probably like 3 or 4 years ago at Phoenix Comic-Con. Michael Golden was there. Had the opportunity to talk with him real quickly, and that was definitely a highlight for me. Monsters #1, 2019 issue. IDW Ghost Tree #1. Got Marvel Team Up #5. Marvel 2-in-1 #58. #59. #67. Hey Nick, how you doing? Spider Comics 7, thanks for stopping by. I appreciate it. Unruly, have a great evening. Thanks for stopping by. Gomez, hey broski, how are you? Good to see you. We've got #60. And a new iteration of Marvel Team Up, #2, with Spider-Man and Ms. Marvel. So those were all 50-cent books. And other than like a couple of the new ones, which obviously were in higher grade, most of those are in low to mid grade, probably like maybe a 4 to 7, 4 to 8. And in the unboxing, we had the first appearance of Hellboy in his own series. So we got Hellboy #4, which is the last issue. And these are all in pretty high grade. And that's what got me onto the CGC kick. I'll probably end up submitting these along with some other books to CGC. So #3. Thanks for stopping by, Brad. I appreciate it. #2. And #1. So we'll see. I'm on the hunt for X-Men 21, but a little pricey. So we'll see what we can do. But that will do it for the books that we had today. Thank you, everyone, for stopping by. I certainly appreciate that. I hope everyone has a wonderful evening. And I will try to do another live stream maybe next week. And I don't know what I'll do. I think I got a book, a raw book that I could do, but we'll see what happens. So thank you, everyone. I appreciate it. Remember, we're taking over the world one comic book at a time. Thanks.